antagonist.
Sincere unfollows Kenzie and comes to Melanie's defense following the Love Island USA reunion first look. Now, they were definitely following each other because Kenzie is still following Sincere. But as of last night, he has unfollowed Kenzie. Now, I immediately thought it has to be because of this altercation that Melanie and Kenzie had at the reunion.
I don't think you just roll your eyes, but yeah.
Where it seems like everyone was attacking Melanie.
You're an antagonist.
You're just a liar. I'm sorry.
It's not about you right now. It's about me and my experience.
Now, all that hate carried over online, and Sincere had to step in and tweeted, "If y'all are going to have heat for anyone, make it me. You can at me, do whatever, I can take mine to the chin. I've looked myself in the mirror and understood that I'm far from perfect. That doesn't absolve my actions whatsoever. Actually, changing to be a better human does." And this is very commendable from Sincere because in reality, these two women have been pitted against each other due to his mistakes in that villa and leading people on. But Kenzie continues to act weird towards Melanie even after the villa. So him unfollowing her was very deserving.
I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but I don't care. The core four, after watching the trailer for the reunion for Love Island, the core four is straight up Mean Girls. They did Regina George energy in half since day one, and nobody wants to acknowledge this. They all want to pretend like Soul wasn't bullied. She was. That girl was 100% bullied. Melody is the ringleader, and the rest of them are her minions, and it literally is Mean Girls Regina George. Now, does that mean I don't like them? No, it doesn't mean I don't like them. I voted for them. But can we be honest for 1 second? They are 100% Mean Girls. Those girls are the girls in high school that bullied other girls. I knew that from day one. Look how they're doing little Kenzie. What does Kenzie do to you, Melody? Be nice to another girl that you didn't like? Regina George, and she's still with Sincere.
The overproduction of Love Island USA Season 8 is giving me the major ick, and that reunion trailer isn't helping their case at all. I understand NBC wanting to capitalize on the success of Love Island USA, but there's something to be said about the way they are going about it. For example, that reunion, why do they have a whole red carpet kind of like showcase for these islanders when they're kind of fresh off the island and they're just starting to build their careers and make a name for themselves? It just seems like very like it just seems very premature. And I think there's something to be said about a network trying to pre-manufacture stars. And the thing about it is you cannot pre-manufacture stars. That has to come organically. And the thing is, with season 6, like, the audience organically loved PBG and boosted them into stardom. For season 7, the audience organically loved Nicolandria and boosted them into stardom. And I think for season 8, the audience organically loves the core 4. But the way that Peacock or NBC is kind of controlling like their press run this season and maybe kind of like overseeing like their brand deals, not necessarily taking money from their brand deals, but overseeing it. I don't know, it just seems slightly overly controlled, overly produced of like their image, and I think it's hurting them rather than helping them. And I don't know, guys, like I just have like a major ick from it all, to be honest, because it just seems overly produced. And I think in order to really produce stars from, you know, your platform, from your show, like, you have to let things happen and occur organically. And I feel like just the overproduction this season has really kind of stopped their momentum, per se. Not to say like they're not, like, the girls aren't doing great things, they are, but I think just like that organic momentum that you would typically have after a show of this magnitude isn't at the same level as it was for previous seasons.
I'm so over Love Island Season 8. Like, can we move on? The show's over. What's up? My name's Andoko Pajata for my Yak and Like, I am waiting for Love Island Season 9. Because this cast of Mean Girls is just not... Like, why are people only now waking up to the fact that, oh, these girls are... Did you watch the fucking show? Like, don't even get me started with this interview right here. Like, I cannot stand Trinity's ass. Because she was like, I hate that people were calling me ghetto and tacky when I was standing up for my friend. And yet the internet was dragging TT for standing up to her man. Like, the difference in treatment between these two is unbelievable. Like, let's make it up. Because for one, Trinity had no business getting involved with Anaya's bro. She was like, that's my friend. That was none of your business. Was that your man? No. Did you ever couple up with him? No. Were your feelings hurt? No. You should have what? Respectfully sat your ass down and shut the fuck. Because at the end of the day, he made a choice. He chose another woman. Him and Anaya weren't gonna work out in the first. Y'all demonized him because Anaya did not have the ability to speak for herself. Like, I'm so over these girls. Like, why is she rolling her eyes at Kenzie for speaking her mind? I'm not believing the Soul edit for a second. I'm pretty sure Soul is yelling at him. Like, she is doubling 10 toes down on her mistreatment of women, while her man is literally the devil reincarnated. Like, she has still yet to. She was saying that they made it up afterwards. Literally, that's he said, she said. We don't have any evidence. I am under speculation that they did not make up, because if they did, her post would have included Casey and TT and just generalizing everybody when she spoke out about Zach getting back. She didn't, because this bitch is anti-black. Let's wake it up. I don't like the ghetto or tacky label because that stigmatized black women, but she was definitely in the wrong for half of the season. Honestly, when we can move on from these mean girls, the sooner the better. Like, can we wake it up? Can we learn from this for season 9, please? I'm so tired of seeing thrift shop Nicolandra. I'm so tired of seeing Melanie show her true colors and everybody being surprised by it. Like, justice for everybody involved that got a bad experience from it.
Honestly, at this point, I'm beginning to think that people that come online to get mad and upset are people who are just looking for ways to create some kind of drama, because I don't get what is happening. It was just a trailer of what was going to happen at the reunion, and what I see is people getting mad, then the Islanders getting hate. You only saw a snippet, like a trailer. We don't have the full picture yet. It's just a bunch of edits added together to create drama and anticipation for the reunion. The only thing that I saw in that trailer that caught my attention was how Anaya and Carl were sitting. It reminded me of how Nick and Olandria were sitting last year during the reunion. So they were sat together on that right side of the stage. I think it's very peculiar. I mean, to me, it just brings me that memory of, okay, this concept is what Anaya and Carl remind me of. So when I think of Nick and Olandria, I think of a beautiful relationship. I think of a couple that is really gonna do well. I think of a successful couple, even throughout all the ups and downs. And that is what I see in Anaya and Carl. So that is the good I'm gonna bring out from that trailer. I'm not gonna even bother myself getting into all the hate and all the craziness and madness that is going on right now online just because of a little snippet of what is going to happen at a reunion. So I'm just gonna keep my brain calm, keep my mind calm, keep my mouth at ease, because I just come back from vacation. Hello. I know that Anaya went to Nantucket with Carl for a mini vacation, and I know that she's back now. So I was also on a vacation. Not that I'm copying Anaya, but you know, our vacation happened together at the same time. So yeah, I'm happy to be back. But there's a lot of discourse going on online. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to also play some more reactions right now. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.
This might be one of
Bye.
the few times I'm defending Anaya, but I actually think she might be too nice for these people. Because, like, in the trailer for the reunion, why does it look like she's apologizing to TT and Casey again? It's like, if anything, I think TT and Casey should be apologizing to her. They should each both be as apologetic. You guys know, not on Casey or Anaya's side. I think they both have faults and they should, you know, I thought it was already squat. But it's like, what's his name? Casey and TT want to play this, like, victim card so bad. And Anaya's, like, so nice. She keeps, like, apologizing, like, oh, like, I'm going to say sorry. It's like, dude, you were literally laughing at her while she was crying. Casey, you didn't even check in on her once after you played in her face and brought back another girl. And she's already said sorry. She literally apologized immediately after she, like, did anything that was, like, problematic, you know? So it's, what else do they want? Again, they might be editing this shit in a way that like it's not what it seemed. But yeah, like this like person said, they're like, they better not have bullied my girl Anaya into saying sorry again in the reunion after all he put her through. Like, and then Casey was like, oh yeah, you guys were welcoming to Titi but not me. I was like, but I thought you said the girls weren't welcoming to Titi. Like, which one is it? You gotta pick one. You can't just be making shit up and creating these like fake narratives like to suit your story or like your mood. Like nobody feels bad for you guys anymore. Like, it's not. Wrap it up.
Girls are losing me. They're losing me. I'm so pre-irritated. I just watched the little teaser for the Love Island reunion, right? Which I'm already annoyed about. I'm annoyed. This entire season has irritated my entire life. What I will say is that it's been made very clear, I thought when it was inside the villa, that the minute everybody online started saying the core four and calling them that it was very obvious that branding was going to be very profitable, right? And that production was going to push to keep these four girls together, hence why they set it up to kind of force it that the four of them would end up in the finale, right? Like this core four thing, they were trying really hard to recreate PPG and they were going to keep them together. And like all the evidence we need of that is that today I just saw that interview drop between Kata and Trinity when they were answering those questions, and I'm like in my mind, I'm like, why would Kata and Trinity be doing interviews together? Wasn't like Trinity, didn't Kata end up in what was that, 4th place or something like that? But like, so why would the 4th place person and the 1st place person, why would they be the ones doing promo together? And again, it is about trying to make sure that they keep the four of them together, that we think of all four of them when we think of any of them. I think with that also comes this idea that, well, each girl comes with her own separate guy and we're all going to be happy and in love and in our relationships, and therefore none of us can be critical of somebody else's man, because again, as we saw when they were in the island, when Trinity said that one, not even like a serious critique, but just a little comment about being like, well, that's not a relationship, it's a situationship, it almost broke her and Kata's friendship, because none of them, their egos are all so fragile, none of them can handle even a little bit of a critique of their men, right? Like they're all my man obsessed. I think as this season was kind of losing me, the thing that really reeled me back in was being able to see Anaya and Melanie's friendship and how genuine it felt, and how it felt like they were really sisters and were showing up for each other, had really genuine love for each other, right? And like I love that a lot, and that has to happen very organically, and there's something about the core four that to me feels like a little bit forced at this point. I think in a season that truly lacked so much romance for a show called Love Island, it truly did lack the love part, it lacked the romantic love, it lacked the romance until we made up with it through like the female friendships. Like I said, I think that this season really brought to light that in a world full of red pill men, right, in a world of rampant misogyny, the answer how to survive misogyny is female friendships, and that is what this season taught us, that showed us. But I think that all falls apart if what we are seeing display, at least in the bit that we saw in the reunion, right, from what it looks like, is that their female friendship and their solidarity with women ends amongst the four of them. It only exists amongst the four of them, and they don't extend that to anybody else. I spent all season being very bothered, especially later in the season, by the treatment of Kenzie by everyone in the islands, right? And this idea of like, again, like the level of slut shaming and the misogyny that was exhibited towards Kenzie, because like, how dare she date around? Like, it's insane. How dare she date on a dating show? I think even the treatment of Soul, like I'm not gonna say I'm a Soul defender, but I do really understand her. I don't think that she's perfect at all, right? And I do think that some of the comments that she made were kind of distasteful, but I think the amount of like anger and hostility that they have towards Soul is very weird to me, when the true villain of the situation of the entire storyline was always Sincere, right? So it's like, how come you guys have all this hate for Soul, but you can all hang around Sincere and you can all be besties with Sincere? I think the girls have chosen to ignore, to sweep things under the rug, have chosen to extend forgiveness and to be like, it's not that big of a deal for everything that's for everything that Sincere and Zach have done all season long, which is like, okay, whatever, that is your choice to do that. But then watching you then try and crucify these women for behaviors that were a lot less than the behaviors that Zach and Sincere exhibited, to me is very nasty and like leaves a very sour taste in my mouth towards you guys. It really gives male obsessed. You're mad because Kenzie called it the Melanie show when she was on live, which even that to me, it's a little bit off-putting, but it's like not that shady of a comment, right? Like that her and Jaden were discussing the way the show was edited when they were watching it for the first time, and they were shocked to see that Melanie got so much screen time, so that's why they called it the Melanie show. But that's not really a dig at Melanie, that's a dig at production, the way that the show was edited. But whatever, you thought it was a little bit shady, okay, whatever. But it's like, you can't let that go but you're still sitting next to that man who did all it. Like that man caused you to have a mental breakdown on national television and then made a joke about it and then laughed in your face, went on that confessional and then mimicked you and laughed like it was funny. But you have smoke for Kenzie because she made a comment saying the Melanie show? Are you serious right now? Trinity, you have smoke for Soul because you didn't like that comment that Soul made on After Sun about Bryce being with you when he really wanted to be with Kata, and you thought that was shady. But Zach was actively trying to break you and Bryce up for more than half the season, but you said, oh no, we're going to let bygones be bygones when it comes to Zach, and we don't care. Zach is our friend. You look corny as fuck. Like, I'm sorry. sorry, if you're gonna have this attitude of sweeping things under the rug and forgive and forget, apply it to everybody then. Why is it just for the boys? Apply it to everyone then. Take the high road with everyone. Say, it wasn't that big of a deal with everyone. But being ready to bark specifically only at the women, it's lame and it's rally. Yeah, I can't stand behind these girls with this.
This isn't a conversation about what's right and what's wrong. It's a conversation about what is. The reason why I find this story kind of interesting is that there's a universal aspect to what we saw on this television show. Regardless of what we feel, her fans feel, the fans of the show, her family, she has decided that she's going to continue to explore this connection. She recently said in her new Vulture feature that people expect her to make a boss decision and leave Sincere, but that's not what she's doing. You ever tried to advise a friend or family member who's been in a toxic relationship? They're not leaving till they're ready to leave. I've seen it with so many friends, men, women, gay, straight. When people find the type of connection that we saw Melanie and Sincere find on Love Island, there's not much outside influences can do to really stop that connection. I personally don't care. They could break up tomorrow. They could never break up. Whatever lessons they're meant to learn through this connection is theirs to experience. When we think about the grand scheme of reality television, a lot of what we watch is not authentic. People go on these shows to get clout and to get opportunities, but there's nothing wrong with that. Right? But what we saw between Melanie and Sincere, like that's actually a genuine connection, which as viewers, we don't always get that. Melanie did also say this in response to the backlash she's getting for staying with Sincere. I can imagine it doesn't feel great for her to see all her other friends' relationships get praised and hers gets criticized. I guess my mantra is she's a grown woman. She made her decision. Let her enjoy her relationship and let her enjoy her decision. Let her deal with whatever comes with her relationship, good or bad.
Melanie can forgive Sincere, but not Kenzie. Melanie's a pick me for forgiving Sincere. You guys, please spare me. Like, please spare me. Okay, Sincere, liar, cheater, whatever. That's Melanie's issue. But when it comes to friendships, Kenzie has been caught more than once talking bad about Melanie with people who do not like Melanie. So why should she forgive that? At least Sincere has never talked bad about Melanie. Kenzie has. And the thing is I made a video about this. You could tell the type of friend group Kenzie comes from. There was a group of girls out there who would sit there and hang out with each other all day, do the cute little holding hand photos, sit there and take pictures with each other, and then they sit there and talk about each friend. There's the little chunks of 2 and 3. They talk about each other all damn day. And then they get together in a big group and pretend they're the bestest of friends. And you can tell that it's very normalized in Kenzie's life because of how easy she honestly, I thought what Melanie did, I didn't think it was super flawed, like super bad, but like, you know, she was so easy to not forgive, but she was so easy to talk it and then be like, let's be best friends again. Like, I talked about you, you did this to me, like, let's be best friends. And it's okay that Melanie does not want to do that. It is. It's actually okay. Kenzie, you talked bad about her, went and befriended Soul, the girl who she had problems with. And then when Soul left, you went back to Melanie. Like, and then so Melanie is seeing all of this on 4K. I wouldn't be your friend either. And then right when you get home, you're talking about me on live. And the only reason you confronted it is because you got caught. And that's another thing. I don't understand why people want Melanie to forgive that. Imagine if Sincere was talking about Melanie on live. Like, then, yes, that would be, and Melanie forgave it. Then it would be like, okay, girl, that's weird. But Sincere, again, has never talked bad about Melanie. The cheating, that's a whole different situation. But it's just, I'm confused why people are confused about why Melanie won't forgive Kenzie. And it's, why would you want to be associated with somebody or even friends with somebody? Like, they could be mutuals. They can see each other out, but we do not have to be friends, especially if you're constantly talking bad about me with people who do not like me. That is where we're just not going to have to be friends. And the fact that the rest of the core 4 don't fuck with Kenzie like that, for real. Like, they told her, but, you know, not like that. It should show you guys. Like, Melanie is not tripping. I don't know, y'all. I feel like so many girlies do what Kenzie does, so that's why it's hitting home for them. And they're like, oh, Melanie should forgive her. Oh, she forgave Sincere. No, when it comes to friendships, no. Girl, bye. Like, you're talking shit about me. I've caught you multiple times. Like, at this point,
I know that it's been super quiet since everybody left the villa, but as we all know, the trailer of the reunion just dropped yesterday, so there's been a lot of discourse, especially involving Melanie and Soul, because the way, obviously, we don't know what exactly happened, but the way that it is edited, it's edited to look like Melanie and Soul are going back and forth. Also, Kenzie and Melanie seem to be going back and forth as well from what it looks like in the trailer. So with that, Melanie has been receiving a lot of backlash since the trailer dropped. Basically, a lot of the fans feel like, how are you so quick to forgive Sincere for everything, but yet, like, you want to act funny with the girls, act funny with Soul, act funny with Kenzie, like, and just be a bit of the girls, but yet you're taking back Sincere, then that's been lying to you and playing you, but you're calling somebody else a liar, but then you're in a relationship with a pathological liar, and you're just a hypocrite, and, yeah, so this is what a lot of the people are saying, and they have been attacking her ever since that trailer dropped. So Sincere went to Twitter and made a post. Okay, so he took to Twitter about 2 hours ago at 2:30 a.m. He said, if y'all are gonna have heat for anyone, make it me. You can at me, do whatever. I can take mine to the chin. I've looked myself in the mirror and understood that I'm far from perfect. That doesn't resolve my actions whatsoever. Actually, changing to be a better human does. So it seems like he doesn't want Melanie to keep receiving a lot of the hate for the shit that he did. But unfortunately, like, the reunion hasn't even happened yet. And I fear things are gonna get crazy. I fear things are gonna get crazy, and I fear that the last month and a half that it's been quiet, it's because a lot of things that, you know, happened in the villa weren't really addressed, and now everything is about to get addressed, and all these topics are about to get reopened, all these discussions, all this discourse. So
Naya sat down with Ebony Magazine recently and answered some questions about Casey. Okay, so she's being interviewed by Delana Dixon, and she starts the interview by saying, let's go back to your villa days. You got put last minute with Casey. Did you say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna try to make this work. Let me get to know this person. How did you feel? And Anaya responds, honestly, when I was first put with Casey, I was happy. I thought he was very handsome, and I thought he was nice. It was new, and I was excited to meet him, see if we had anything in common, and see where our connection could go. He was a big part of my journey, so I thank Casey for being there for that part. I like that. I feel like that answer was very mature. Then she was asked, how difficult was it when he chose TT? I know there was a lot of heightened emotions in the moment. Anaya says, I feel like I have really strong intentions and really strong signs of discernment. Going into it, I wasn't upset that he chose TT because I felt like he chose what was best for him. I was more upset with myself because I feel like there were signs going into it that I wish I had acknowledged. But that's the only thing I would say about it. I'm happy that he found someone who was good for him, and I'm happy I found someone that is good for me.